Right. I think I'm all right. I think I'm ready now. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm as good as I'm gonna be. It's like this has been a great experiment since 2020, and it's still an experiment every time.
Because it changes. Everything changes. Everything. Every damn thing. I change my shot every time. The angle, I change it every damn time. Sometimes I'm like over here. The camera's over here. Before, the camera was behind the turntables at one point. I change the shot. Sometimes I have it like right here in front, because there's a window right here. I have it right here, and then you just see straight back where you can see my Black Lives Matter flag over here. I change the shit every time. And not intentionally.
And one day we're gonna have an editor that does this. And I'll let him be frustrated with you about changing the shot every time. Now, I've just learned to roll with it. I was like, I know this motherfucking shot gonna be different every time. Let's just roll with it and see what happens.
I consistently change. That's the one thing in life. What's the quote?
The only one constant in life is change.
In life is the change in shot that I make every show. 3, 2.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you personally kick Candace Owens and her stanky
cray.
No good thing starts with, I was thinking about my ex.
He ain't learned his lesson. That's a brother ain't gonna learn shit.
I know this is gonna be about you, and I don't care.
Let's keep this shit funky.
What's happening? What's craculating? What's unpopping, good people? Welcome to Unpopin Show, home of unpopular opinions. I am the one they call T Storm, and joined by with me at, it's one of them things. Joined, as always, my brother DJ Mike Swift.
What's happening? What's cracking? What's popping? On your way in the door, please pay the cost of admission. Just hit the like and subscribe buttons. Leave a comment if you feel so inclined, and share with your friends and family who want to laugh a little bit, get a little bit of information.
Yeah. Bunch of birthdays. I got a bunch of family that celebrated birthdays. My Aunt Rosie, well, technically my great aunt is my grandmother's sister, younger sister. My grandmother's the oldest. So Aunt Rosie, happy birthday to you. She told me she's 79 years young.
Nice.
I'm DJing for my Aunt Laura. Her birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, so she's younger than Aunt Rosie. I'll get the numbers right.
Look, you know you're gonna get massacred for saying their ages. What is wrong with you?
Really? Listen. Once you over 70, once you make it to 68, I don't think it even, and especially if you look good.
I think when you make it to 8, it don't matter, right? Like it doesn't matter to me, but unfortunately, a lot of women are very sensitive about that number.
Okay, well, my mother-in-law, her birthday is on this day that we're recording today, on this Saturday, April 30th, 2022. It is my mother-in-law's birthday. I don't know how old she is. She won't tell us.
See?
So I got a friend, old co-worker, Jackie Reed. Jackie used to be on Tom Joyner's show. She's in here in New York. She's on NBC's New York Today or something like that. I forget the name of the show. New York Beat. I forget what it's called, on NBC every day. She used to be on BET. She was the sister with the choker. Remember that?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Jackie, beautiful sister. Hey, Jackie, beautiful sister. She whites out her the year of her birth on her driver's license. She will not, even on her driver's license, you will not see what year she was born. But you look 19 still, Jackie. Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Just embrace it, man. That's just embrace aging. You get older, you get wiser. You know, my life didn't really get interesting until I turned 40. It's like, once I hit 40, it was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And I'm eagerly awaiting 50. I'm ready. Yeah. Like, let's do it. Let's do 50.
I've been just talking with my classmates from 308 junior high school I went to. We all turned 50 at the same time. So I want to do thinking about doing like a joint 50 party. Also, hip hop turns 50. That infamous party, not infamous, the famous party that Kool Herc did
Cedric
in the Bronx.
Yeah.
It'll be 50 years for that coming soon, like next year. Was it in 73? I think it was 73. Yeah,
I think it was 73. Yeah.
It's a bunch of different things. 50 is a good number. It's a good number. Good number. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Mike Tyson.
Yeah, we took a week off, man. We took a week off, and it was a whole lot we didn't cover. And you mentioned Mike Tyson. That's one of the things that happened in that week off. Mike he's what, 55, 54 at this point?
Okay.
I got to be
him and Roy Jones Jr. fought, and Roy is younger than Mike.
Mike is 55.
55, okay.
Mike's 55. Wow. I'm sure everybody has seen the video at this point. It was absolutely hilarious. T, have you seen it?
I have. I read the story on it. It tickled the hell out of me because so the story goes, Mike was traveling. He was on his way, to Miami or somewhere. He was on his way somewhere by plane. And there were some fans that, wanted to take a picture with him or whatever. He took pictures with them or whatever. And the video picks up with him sitting in his seat and this weird white boy in the seat behind him, just bugging the hell out, just like talking to Mike over the seat. Initially, he seemed cool about it. Then the dude got increasingly more annoying and doing shit. So now it looks. Then the video picks up where Mike is just like ignoring him. And then, then the next video, Mike is turned around over the seat behind him and walloping this motherfucker, like
giving him the business. Oh, and here's the result of that. I got the picture of the gentleman up, and I think his name is Melvin Townsend III or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, he got the swole face, and he got the
lumped
sad
up
face
nicely
happening. Oh yeah, he got hemmed up like a fresh new pair of pants, Jack.
Yo, and them punches, and here's the crazy thing. Those weren't the hardest punches you've ever seen Mike throw. They were in short distance because he wasn't reaching back from behind him and reaching in. And it was like short distance, like burst of photon energy.
He
lumped his face up.
He was throwing right hooks, tight in and close. And I'm not a boxing commentator by no stretch of the imagination, but I've watched my fair share of boxing. I have never seen an individual throw a hard, tight punch like Mike throws those, because he gets real tight, he gets right up in on you, and he throws those hard, close, tight punches. I bet that boy ain't never felt nothing like that in his life when Mike was throwing the hooks on him in that plane.
Oh, you know what was missing from that, and somebody should dub it in, was Mike saying, "I told you, stop fucking with me." That would have been perfect.
Oof. The sound going, oof, oof, oof,
oof. And so, I posed the question, who in their right mind wants to antagonize Mike Tyson like that? And you're not a fighter. You're not built for it. It's not like you're challenging him to a fight or nothing like that. It's just a patron. He seemed intoxicated. And if you've seen this, you already know this by now. But who in their right mind would do that?
he was not in his right mind, dude. Like he was drunk out of his brain. He was super excited. He was standing, and it was a bad look. But now here is the part of me that gets into conspiracy theorist space.
Okay.
He has retained a lawyer. Mr. Melvin Townsend III has retained Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan to represent him. He says, quote, "Our client is a big Mike Tyson fan. When Mike Tyson boarded the plane, he became overly excited. At first, their interaction was cordial because Mike took selfies with old dude, chatted with him and everything.
Right.
And then, Mike lost his mind, and they're saying that that Melvin did not throw a water bottle at Mike before Mike lost it, which Mike is in his chill older dude space right now. I don't think them words would have bothered him like that. I think that water bottle triggered him, and he was like, "Who do you think you messing with right now?"
Right.
But they have not come out and said that they are going to do a lawsuit. I believe it is forthcoming. God only knows how much it'll be for. They feel like Mike used excessive force, and he's a boxer, and he has a higher standard and all that stuff. And I'm like, look, man, to quote Abba from Abba and Preach, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Well said. Yeah, I think he okay, how do I dance around this? Nah, fuck it. He deserved every bit of them lumps he got. Every bit of it. And people say violence is never the answer. Yeah, but it is when you're messing with Mike Tyson. That's what he does. He does violence.
Look,
that's his profession. Mike is a professional violence creator. Why would you now, drunk or not, fuck with Mike Tyson? Come on, son.
Listen, sometimes violence is the answer when stupidity is the question. I'm just saying.
Every last one. And if Mike decides to pay him, fine. Yeah, you get a couple of dollars for these for each lump, maybe. But he can turn and he didn't press charges on him, because if they say he threw a water bottle, that's assault as well. I'm no attorney, I'm no law professional, but I would think, if there was a water bottle that hit him, that can be, taken as assault. No?
Yeah, so when you throw an object at somebody, and I am neither a law professor or an attorney either, but as I understand it, in Georgia, when you throw something at someone and hit them, that is assault. Now they were detained by the police, so Mike gave him them rights and then walked off the plane. I think the crew got the other guy off the plane. San Francisco police, because this happened on a flight leaving San Francisco. San Francisco police detained them both. Mr. Townsend declined to press charges.
Right.
San Francisco police has seen the video. They've seen the video, but they've turned it over to San Francisco Sheriff's Department to do whatever they're going to do with it. So I don't know in California if the victim has to press charges for the state to go after the perpetrator of the crime.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has to happen or if the state can go after them because if it's considered a crime against the state. I do not know that. But as of right now, no charges are filed. No charges are filed. But look, here's the truth. The thing is, Mike was wrong, right? From a legal standpoint, Mike was wrong.
Yes, of course.
It's that theory of escalating violence, right? If you threw a water bottle at me, my recourse is to throw a water bottle back at you. But if you throw a water bottle at me and I shoot you, I'm not right. Right? It's like you can't escalate it that way.
Okay. I mean, I never thought about it like that. I'm still like, if you antagonize a lion, the lion don't care what you threw at it. It's coming at you with what the lion does. Mike is that lion. That's how I see it.
There is real life and then there's the law.
Right. Care
Real
about
life.
this water bottle.
Don't mess with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Well, now here's who is messing with Mike Tyson. Jake Paul. Are you
Really?
familiar with Jake Paul?
I am. I can't say that I'm a fan. I have to respect the circus that he's brought to boxing. And he's not really, well, okay. If you get paid for something, that makes you a professional. But he is not a actual fighter. He's not fighting for, he's not being ranked as like for title fights and all that stuff. Am I correct in that?
So he is moving into that space. He started out as just kind of him and his brother, Jake and Logan. They started out obviously as YouTubers, but they started getting into kind of the salacious kind of fight thing. But then I think Jake stepped up and really trained to be a legitimate boxer. And I think right now he's undefeated.
Yeah, you can't call that undefeated. I mean, what's my man? What's the NBA ex-NBA player he knocked out? Was that him or was that his brother? That was Jake. No, that was Jake.
I think it was Jake.
Yeah, he punched a boxer. I mean, he punched the NBA player that never boxed a day in his life, and I forget the brother's name. And he told him, "What's this? Is the famous audio we got with Snoop Dogg?"
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
It's a shame that I can't remember the brother's name that inspired that audio. But you know what I'm talking about. That was one of the fights. I don't count that as a real fight. That's not a fight. Nate Robinson. There he is. Nate Robinson. That's his name.
I'm trying to
Nate
find
Robinson.
a list of his fights because now I'm curious.
I don't think, in any case, I don't think he's really fought anybody reputable. And that was Jake that basically sparred with Mayweather, correct?
Yeah, let's see. So his professional career, and actually I can put this up. According to Wikipedia, and take Wikipedia with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because they're reputable.
2019, it was announced that Paul would be making his professional boxing debut against YouTuber and Essen Gibb, known as Gibbs. I don't know if I count that. Face professional basketball player Nate Robinson. Don't know if I count that. Third pro bout opponent, former Bellator MMA and one welterweight champion Ben Askren. You got to count that one.
Okay. All right.
He went up against Tyrone Woodley, former UFC welterweight champion Tyrone Woodley. I'll count that one. And then he went against Tyrone Woodley again. So
he did?
2 of the 5 fights. I mean, yeah, he's undefeated in 5 fights. 2 of the 5 fights are, those celebrity exhibition kind of fights.
Okay, but here's the thing: they're all exhibition. He's fighting MMA fighters. They're not boxers. Boxing and MMA are 2 different skills.
I agree.
It's 2 different skills. So I mean, it's the same reason when Floyd fought what's the McGregor dude? Conor
McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Conor was but he was out of his element. He never boxed before. It's a different skill set. So it doesn't. Again, I don't think none of the fights count.
All right. The only reason I will count an MMA fighter, former or current, against a boxer is because boxing is straight up pugilism. MMA is fighting. And there is training involved, right? You're not fighting somebody. You're not fighting an NBA player. You're not fighting a YouTuber. So you're fighting another fighter. It's just not boxing. Now, I do believe it is not a 1-to-1 equivalency because the MMA fighter is trained to use every weapon, like hands, elbows, knees, legs, feet,
They
head,
wrestle on
shoulders.
the floor. They're
Yes. So to be trained to use all of that, but then get in a fight and you can't use it, you can only use about 15, 20% of what you actually know in this fight. So it's a hell of a handicap, and it's a hell of a thing to be in the moment and have trained, let's say, 5 years to use all those tools, and you're throwing punches and your instinct is to throw a kick, but you have to fight the instinct while you're fighting another individual. It's again, I give it to you. It's not 1-to-1, but I got to give it some credit that it's an actual fight.
It would impress me if he boxed and they did their MMA shit and then he won. Then you have a point. Okay, you good. You good.
Dude, that would be super unfair.
Well, because if somebody's throwing kicks and you can dodge and move from them kicks and you still kick their ass with just fist, then you a bad motherfucker.
You're beyond bad. You're Superman. If you pull that off, you are Superman, dude.
I don't think. Again, I don't count it all. The Floyd Mayweather sparring match, Floyd knocked the dude out and held him up. Yeah. Watch the tape. He hit him. I don't think he intended to do it, but he sent the message. He popped him and he held him up. he was about to go down. He was like, no, I don't want to end it. Just make this payday count. Floyd wasn't really going hard at dude.
No. And he shouldn't have. I mean, but look, I think Jake expressed interest in fighting Tyson a year ago, maybe. It's been a while ago. I did see Mike Tyson respond a while ago on a podcast, like, yeah, sure, we, get it together, make it happen, whatever. I fight the white boy, something along the lines. And so those words alone, I fight the white boy. That's not a direct quote, but he said something along those lines. And he was excited about it. He was laughing about it or whatever, right? In his, in how Mike Tyson is these days. It wasn't like I'm going to kill him. But those were what makes me more nervous about it, because I think that trigger, once he's in the ring, cuts on, and he may try to actually kill this dude. I think he did a pretty good job in the last exhibition fight, of not becoming that person. You know what I mean? At first he was like, no. And then, the one you saw, he was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Now he's super excited about doing it.
It's a numbers thing, though.
It is a numbers thing.
It's a super payday for that.
It is a numbers thing. They're shooting to bring in the highest pay-per-view numbers in the history of pay-per-view boxing. Love him or not, Jake Paul is a draw, right? People show up to see what he's going to do.
Absolutely. It's kind of like, I think it's a love-hate thing. There's some people that really just hate this dude and can't wait to see him die in the ring. And then there's people that's like, they're fans of him, and then want to, I respect I respect the circus, the spectacle, because that's what it's a show. I respect it. It's a show. And I think if he really wants to be taken seriously, he should just move into real boxing and fight some real contenders and go from there. Even fighting Mike Tyson at this point, Mike don't have anything to prove at this point.
No,
he has nothing to prove. And so whether or not he takes it serious enough to really try to hurt dude or not, I think it's a lose-lose for him. Because if he loses the fight, if dude hits him and somehow knocks Tyson down or whatever, he looks bad. If he knocks the dude out, well, this dude was not really a real fighter. He's not a real boxer yet.
I don't think he'll look bad if he knocks Jake Paul out. I don't. For the reason that you mentioned earlier, I think people want to see him fail. I think if Tyson knocks him out, people will just go, all right, that's what you get. And one of the things that I like about Jake Paul is if he gets knocked out, he won't quit. He'll be up next week saying, I'll fight Roy Jones. I'll fight whoever. He's that dude. Yeah. He's that dude. So, I mean, I got to respect that part of him. But I don't, to your question, I don't think he's ever going to step up into the official boxing ranks like that. Why would he? He makes more money doing the exhibition fights that he's doing, and he gets hurt less. So it would make no sense from a business and health and safety standpoint to go pro, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, this is wrestling to me. This is just it's wrestling. It's not real. I mean, Tyson is not really going. I don't think he's really going to try to hurt dude. I would hope that he would. I'm one of those that want to see him. If he don't die, it don't count. That's Mike Tyson quote. I'm one of those.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can we talk about Mr. Trey Songz?
Oh boy.
What is
yes,
he
go
doing?
for it.
What is he? What are you? I feel like I want to be like daddy and just sit him down and say, "Boy, what are you doing? What you doing, boy?" Okay. So he in trouble again. My man is in trouble again. It's a video that surfaced of him from 2013 at a party. He walks up to a chick, pulls her bikini top to the side, and it's just like, I'm trying to find a YouTube safe word. Memory glands are out. He's just saying it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And now his other case that got settled has triggered this woman, and now she's coming after him.
Or the woman in the video?
Yes. From 2013. It is now 2022. So almost 10 years later.
So here's the interesting. So there's been cases and little rumblings that pop up and then they go away, right? But here's something interesting. Keke Palmer said something about having a run-in, an issue with Mr. Trey Songz some years ago, and it kind of got quelched or people didn't take it seriously or whatever, but it's resurfaced as a result of some of that. And then she, I can't remember. She hasn't exactly said it, but something to the extent of, I told y'all.
But can you be mad at her though?
No, not at all.
You can't, right? Like,
not at all.
I'm going to tread lightly on this. I think the believe all victims thing ignores due process. So I'm not a huge fan of it. However, I will say believe all accusers enough to investigate. Right? There should be an inherent belief enough to say, let's look into this and figure out what's going on in an unbiased way.
Take it seriously.
Take it seriously, yes. But to take it as fact and true, I think ignores due process. So for her to say, hey, this happened, when I say her, I mean Keke Palmer, to say this happened and no one took it seriously, I think that's a problem. Yeah.
I don't know how far she took it though. She talked about it publicly, and I think maybe she didn't because I think if I remember correctly, and this is just going off of my memory, and my memory may be wrong about this, but she expressed disappointment because she felt that they were friends and something he tried at a party or something like that. He tried her at a party. I believe is how the story goes. Again, this is off of my memory, and I'm getting, may not have the facts all the way correctly, but something along those lines. And she expressed a disappointment in him because, like I said, she considered him a friend, and why would he do that to her? Whatever that transpired, in that function, and that was like years and years and years ago. And then I think she retold part of that story, or got more into it.
As you're saying it, I think I remember we talked about it a little bit, maybe in 2020.
Yeah. But she wasn't like screaming it from the hilltops, like, go get this guy. Ed Lover, shout out to Ed Lover. Ed Lover said he believes before the year is out that there'll be a surviving Trey Songz documentary.
I did see an article that said, is Trey Songz the new R. Kelly?
Ooh. You don't even want your name next to somebody like that. That's, ugh.
Dude, if I had any R's in my name, I would take them out. Just like, nope. I don't even want an R in my name no more.
Oh, man.
But the young lady from 2013, her name is Megan Johnson. Megan Johnson's attorneys have come out and said they would, I think they said they would settle the case.
Mm.
The lawyers say they will drop the case if Trey settles for north of $5 million.
Jeez.
So apparently justice can be purchased. I have mixed emotions about that. I really do.
I mean, or maybe it's just about the money. The young lady in that video initially laughed. Now, not to take anything away from her, she laughed about it and kind of went about it. It seemingly went about her business, in the party, like, oh, you're so silly, and
that that
who knows if she may have actually really, really been traumatized in that moment.
yes,
But just laughed it off to kind of go along, to get along type thing.
and just the laughing in the moment, that to me doesn't even really factor in, because that's when you leave your house, you don't expect anybody to pull your pants down, right? Like, it's just that
Right.
reaction. You don't know how to react in that moment. And like you said, embarrassment can kick in.
Mhm.
So when something like that happens in that moment, I think the reaction of laughter should not be a genuine factor.
But I've heard people kind of point to it already, and
Yeah.
I'm sure whoever is representing, if it ever makes it to court or something like that, they may point that the Trey Songz representation may point to that as well. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, at this
May
point,
not be a good.
Go ahead.
I may not be a good move to do that, but
Well, at this point, legally, she is struggling. The statute of limitations for that type of crime in that area is generally 3 years, and
Okay.
3 years have passed. So I'm sure there may be some legal wrangling that they do to work around that or whatever. But I mean, overall, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just like, stop.
yeah. But yeah, well,
He released his own video though.
of that
Well,
moment.
I don't know if he released it, but a video was released, and I believe it was from that same party where there was a woman in a blue bikini who grabbed his crotch, and he was standing there kind of like,
Oh, okay.
so maybe I think that might be preemptive to say, it happened to me too, or, hey, that's just the kind of party we were at. Or,
Right. I don't know. Well, either way, good luck.
Avoid them problems, man. Avoid them problems.
I want to talk about one of our seemingly favorite subjects to talk about. I'm talking about the whiny-voiced Kim Kardashian.
You call it a whiny voiced.
Yeah, she talks like this. I'm saying, what's a comedian said? The Kardashians sound like they're swallowing their words. So there's a clip that just came out of Kim Kardashian. I haven't watched the full clip yet, so this will be the first time we're actually seeing this. But it's a clip of Kanye delivering a hard drive that he said he got from Ray J of the sex tape. I'm gonna play the audio, and if you can stand Miss Kardashian's voice, please bear with us.
Night. And he came back this morning. I want to show you guys what he got me.
So Kanye walks into the room.
Gorgeous.
Puts down a briefcase. She unzips it.
Oh my God.
Kanye West made his debut.
Yeah, that's from E.T. So, and it's supposed to be a sex tape, a second sex tape from Ray J. Ray J. Okay, before you even go there, you hadn't heard about this yet, have you?
No. I kind of heard about it. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's a YouTuber in the manosphere. He's put a lot of folks on. I've been over to check out his channel a few times, and God bless him, he pontificates a lot. He doesn't put a lot of facts in. He'll drop a couple of facts, and then he'll just talk about how he feels about it. So I heard him say something about a hard drive and Kanye West getting the hard drive, but it wasn't enough facts for me to really understand what was going on, and he didn't play the video. So I'm loosely familiar with it.
She goes, I'm so emotional. Kardashian says, I'm so emotional because of it. Where's it at? I know Kanye did this for me, but he also did this for my kids. I want to shield them from as much as I can. And if I had the power to, or if Kanye has the power to, like, that is just the most important thing to me. I'm so emotional because of it. It just means a lot to me. But Ray J has come out and said, "Yeah, y'all lying. Stop it." He went on this live, and he said something to the extent of, "I can't let them do this anymore. So untrue." Talking about, saying that they delivered. Now, there's been a lot of talk about there being an additional sex tape.
Right.
Whack 100. If you're familiar, do you know who Whack 100 is?
I know the name. I don't know any of the music.
Now, he's not a musician. He's responsible for Blue. He's responsible for Blueface. He's like an exec. I think he's tied to Cash Money, but he's from the West Coast. In any case,
okay.
Blueface was his artist, and he's been like hardcore trolling on the internet for some time now. He's said some really interestingly weird things about a bunch of different things. I don't even want to get into it. But he was saying that there was a tape and he got it from Ray J and Kanye got it from him or something like that, or whatever case. The lawyers were saying, initially they were saying there's no tape. Kardashian was like, her lawyers were saying there's no tape, there's no tape. And so now here's Kanye, supposedly delivering a hard drive with the tape on it. And Ray J's like, "Y'all lying, stop it." But he didn't really get into much detail, but it's like, I can't let y'all keep doing this. I can't let y'all do this. It's not true. I don't know. I'm sure that means there's
more people.
I'm sure there's more to come behind that, but
pun intended.
You know me so well. I'm sure this gets deeper.
Look, I want so desperately for Kanye to just separate himself from that situation. Just to be like, you know what? I'm out. You want the tape, then you go get the tape. You want to figure out what's going on with Ray J, you figure out what's going on. Then just drop my kids off on Friday evening and just be done with it, man, because it's all messy. I mean, walking in with a briefcase and all that, it's contrived for television. It's
TV,
just,
yeah. I mean, that's an oxymoron you just said, because it's keeping up with the Kardashians. The original title was contrived for TV. I think that's a given, that everything they do is for the cameras, especially, having Kanye West walk in and do this.
You know how and it just hit me, and I don't know why it has never hit me before. Well, maybe because I just simply don't care about that show.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a middle finger is it to the average American that the name of the show is Keeping Up with the Kardashians? It co-opts the phrase Keeping Up with the Joneses. The phrase Keeping Up with the Joneses is not a positive phrase. It is used to reference people living outside of their means and doing things that they cannot do in order to maintain an image or some type of visibility that someone else who has more than you has. So you're putting yourself in debt and going south in order to look like that other person. And they have put themselves on TV as the image of that other person and have flat out said, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. What kind of middle finger is that to people?
Dude, that's excellent. That is an excellent explanation. And I had never thought about that before. That is crazy.
That's like R. Kelly calling himself the Pied Piper when he did it. It was just like the big middle finger. It was like,
right.
This is what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. Hiding in plain sight, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, but then again, I don't think R. Kelly was smart enough to understand the, ramifications of what he was saying or what the story was, taking people's children while playing music. He was just, I'm the Pied Piper. And he probably just, I don't know. And perhaps the same thing with the Kardashians, that they didn't think that all the way through what that actually means.
That would be too much of a coincidence.
I think words have power, and they just like, let's do that. Keep up with us every week. But there's more behind it that, like you just broke down. That's man.
That just occurred to me. It never has occurred to me before. But
that's very deep. That's very deep. Very deep.
I don't like them.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Look, I don't know them personally, so I can't say that. I can't say I don't like them. And I cannot ignore some of the good things that Kim has done.
Right.
However,
she's done a lot for black men. After all, you are what you eat.
I'm not even going there with you. I was referencing her work in social justice and getting people's sentences commuted and that type of thing, and getting pardons.
She's done a lot to get black men. She's done a lot to get black men off.
I tried not to laugh. I really did. I was not setting him up for that joke, by the way. I was not. I was trying to be serious. No.
Count on Kim Kardashian to help a black man get released.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at you. Look so proud of yourself.
This is good. Mm-hmm.
But my point is, I don't know her personally, so I can't say that I don't like her or her family or anybody in their family personally. I don't like what they represent and what they show and what they promote, especially to my group, my culture, my people. I don't like how young women aspire to that physical aesthetic to the point of getting surgery, unnecessary surgery that affects them negatively later, right? It's a lot there that I'm not a fan of. So I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I'm not being super personal. I'm just, what I see, I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, years ago, I actually was in the same room as Kim Kardashian. This is not even a joke. She came up on the radio station I was working for in New York City. She was there. Shout out to Angie Martinez. She was hanging with Angie Martinez, and she was there. And at the time, everything, this was before she was dating Kanye, I believe. I think it was before that. And much to be, everybody was celebrating her, her derriere. Oh, Kim has such a big booty, this, and that. And I remember taking a look, And I wasn't really impressed. It was just kind of like, oh, yeah. I mean, not to be weird, but you know,
it's not weird.
See, it's there. I took one of these glances, like
the look back. You did the look back.
I did the look back, you know, because she was over here. She was to my left, and I kind of looked. And there was room to take a look. And kind of surveyed. And it's like, I'm not impressed. She's no J-Lo, you know what I mean? So
J-Lo is a beautiful, beautiful lady in pictures and on TV and in movies.
Mm-hmm.
In person, she is mind-blowingly gorgeous. Like you really don't get the full breadth of how beautiful J-Lo is until you physically lay eyes on her. It's breathtaking, bro.
Facts.
Your brain takes
Facts.
a minute to catch up with what's happening. It's like,
now, and not taking anything away from J-Lo, because I also have seen her in person as well, and she is remarkably beautiful. But I grew up with J-Lo's in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I grew up around, you know, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and you know, as a teenager, I didn't know the difference. You know what I mean? But yeah, the woman just as beautiful. Like that, you know, there are a bunch of J-Los that you just never seen. You know what I mean? But J-Lo is remarkable. True indeed. True.
Do we have time to talk about this Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial?
Yeah. Yes. This I don't have the audio prepared. But I've been kind of keeping up with this trial. This is a defamation trial that Johnny Depp has brought against his now ex-wife, Amber Heard. I was not familiar with who she was. I really didn't know her name, Amber. I had no idea. I just remember hearing really, really nasty things about him while they were going through their divorce. And any movies he was supposed to be associated with were just dissolved. I don't think we've seen a Johnny Depp movie since his divorce.
He lost his deal for Fantastic Beasts, the next installment in the Harry Potter saga. He lost his deal for Pirates of the Caribbean 6 and all behind this. And in fact, his talent agent took the stand and testified that he lost Pirate 6 because of these allegations that Amber Heard leveraged against him, that he was an abuser.
Abusive, right. There's a clip. So there's a dude, if I can, again, I'm going off of my memory and I don't have the clip readily available. But apparently there's a guy that Johnny Depp grew up with. Hang on. And he was an artist. Let me see if I can pull it up real fast. Jeez Louise. I apologize, people. I forget the cat's name. In any case, anyway, he was an artist, and on the stand, he told us, he explained their relationship, that they had known each other when they were younger, and he was an artist or whatever, and they had a mutual friend that was communicating between the two of them, and he had sent them some samples of his art, some pictures of art that he had made, drew. And Johnny Depp sent back a message through their mutual friend, hey, when so-and-so was ready to sell these, let me know. I want to buy a piece of art. And so they end up meeting up. He went over to meet up with Johnny Depp. And he brought, a bunch of different art pieces and was like, which one would you want to buy? And Johnny Depp looked at his art and everything. He said, you know what? I'll do one better. I'm not gonna purchase anything today, but what I will do is throw a party, invite all the wealthy friends over, and have them basically have a I don't know if it was not a sale or auction, but in any case, he got to sell his art to these people, and keep all the proceeds. Johnny Depp said he didn't want anything. and made it so that he could just be an artist and not worry about, trying to make rent every month. He put him up in a condo. And he's like, the dude, he was just like really emotional and said, he was really appreciative because he said up until that moment, he was living in his mother's basement. This is a grown man. He was living in his mom's basement, and Johnny Depp changed his life overnight, basically. And has taken care of him and allowed him to live in a house that he owns, that Johnny Depp owns, rent free. And he's been able to draw and make money. I just that moment right there was like, wow, this Johnny Depp, that's a sweet dude, man. Like, that's an amazing thing to do for someone. And just in that moment, I kind of saw him in a different light. Like, wow, you know what I mean? The Amber Heard's team of lawyers was trying to make it like, are you beholding to him? He's a beholding to him. No, I'm from Brooklyn. I appreciate what he did, and I don't think what she's doing is right, and I don't, that. And he was like, kind of testified to the things that she said were lies, and that he had not witnessed any abuse from Johnny Depp to his ex-wife or to anyone. He said, but you guys did drugs? He's like, yeah, we all did. What? It was
one, I think it was when Johnny was on the stand, he was being cross-examined, I believe, and they said, were you drinking? And he was just like, yeah. He was like, well, were you drinking early in the morning at like 10 a.m. or something like that? And I'm butchering this. And Johnny's response was, well, yeah, happy hour is at any time.
Right. I think that same lawyer was like, "Oh, you were pretty drunk and high, right?" And Johnny Depp says, "I'm like, were you there?" Like, dude, it's just, man.
Look, so it's a whole lot to unpack about that trial, and I'm kind of like you. I'm not watching every moment, but I am grabbing it in bites here and there, cross-examinations. I really, really, really can't wait till Amber Heard gets on the stand. As of right now, with the facts that have been presented, with the infamous recording that came out, I think last year or 2020, of her admitting to hitting him, of her admitting that him saying he's been abused by her wouldn't be believed by the judge. All of this, of her saying that she was going to donate her total $7 million settlement that she got from the divorce to charity, 3.5 to the ACLU, 3.5 to like a LA Children's Hospital. She is not, I don't think she's given a dime to the Children's Hospital. She's only given 1.3 to ACLU. So she's lied about that. And look, and let's be honest, because I thought about it. I was thinking about it today. I was like, what would make her not give that money, right? What would be the holdup? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's too much to donate within a tax year so she doesn't get the tax break from it. To just drop $7 million in 1 year might not be the wisest financial thing to do, right? But it's been 3 years. You've done 1.3 one time in 3 years. Where's the rest of it? If it's a tax issue, you can do a little bit each year. You can even come out and say, it's a tax issue. I'm going to do a little bit each year, right?
No, I think it's...
With the allegations that she was cheating on him with James Franco and her quickly moving on to Elon Musk afterwards. It's a lot going on that just simply paints her as a liar. She's a liar.
Yeah. She hasn't opened her mouth to speak yet, but just hearing her on the tapes and all the testimony that's coming out from everyone that's been on the stand so far. And yeah, she's losing this badly. And
and I'm hesitant to do this because I don't want to seem like I'm beating up on her, even though I am a little bit beaten up on her.
I mean, look, I think
she allegedly cut the man's finger off.
Oh, okay. Wow.
She allegedly left a human fecal matter package in the middle of his bed. She admittedly hit him. It is debatable whether it was a punch or a slap. She has been accused of physical violence on a regular basis. I'm struggling here. She came out and she did the op. So what started all of it is she did an op-ed in 2018 talking about surviving domestic abuse.
Yeah.
And she never mentioned him, to her credit. She never mentioned him in the op-ed, but the way it was presented, it was enough information where a reasonable person could associate that op-ed with Johnny Depp, which is why he's suing. But she did the op-ed and all his jobs went away. That man lost money, millions and millions of dollars, just gone. Just off the op-ed, just off the accusation of. He has a tape of her saying she hit him. She's still working. She's still working.
Yeah. Well, you know, she lose this lawsuit. You know, we may see that may turn out differently because if it comes out that she lied, and the judge and jury is there a jury? There's a jury in this trial, or is it just a judge?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a jury trial or if the judge is going to decide. And look, and hats off to the judge. Hats off to the judge, man. I like what the judge is doing. She's sustaining objections. She's, you know, she's moving things along. She's moving it along. It's been great. Yeah. It's been great to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I can't take my eyes off of it.
You know what's funny? This is how I know I watch too much Law and Order. There was a moment where somebody was on the stand testifying on it was the friend. It was the friend, and the Amber's attorney asked him a question, and he went down this, you know, he went down this spiel talking about all these things that she's been doing, you know, being false, and you know that she needs to, you know, he just ran. He had a run-on sentence. And the lawyer tried to say, okay, well, what if these things turn out to be true? And the lawyer objected. He said, well, he just went on a sentence saying this, and this. He was like, yeah, but you asked him the question. And I was like, I knew that. You opened the door. I knew that. My degree from Law and Order has paid off. So I'm like, I knew that. She opened the door. I'm saying that to myself. I'm watching him. Like, my wife is looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like, no, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, baby. I got this, baby.
Yeah.
No, it's a mess, man. I on a genuine human level feel sorry for both of them. Because we can run down, and I know where you're gonna go. We can run down this list of atrocities, but as we run down that list, to me, it exposes a very broken, flawed human being. I don't think she should get off because of that, but I think it's a normal person would not do this to another person, and frankly, a normal person wouldn't take this from another person. So, just kind of looking into it before we did the show today, I did not know this until this morning. He and his father suffered abuse from his mother.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So he has found his mother and got with her. People were saying, well, why won't he leave? And why would he put up with this? This is probably more comfortable to him than a healthy relationship.
That could be argued, or she morphed. She morphed into this person when they, as time progressed.
Oh no, I looked at a timeline of their relationship. She's always been this person. It probably wasn't as public or out in the front. She was, dude. They met in 2009 while they were both in relationships. They started dating in 2012, got engaged in 2014, got married in 2015, got divorced in 2016. That timeline says to me there were problems all through that, and they thought that the marriage was going to fix the problems, and it didn't.
Yeah. Well, good luck to both of them. I would love to see some more Johnny Depp movies. I've been seeing them pop up on cable, recently. Like there's been a bunch of Johnny Depp movies they've been starting to play now. I didn't notice that before. I hadn't seen like a Pirates of the Caribbean or anything pop up, like on HBO or Stars, anything like, how they just play old movies and stuff. I hadn't seen nothing from Johnny Depp until recently. So maybe we'll start seeing him working, and people are paying attention to like, oh, that was a lie. Let's,
they probably starting to trickle his stuff back out there, because I'm sure when everything came out, they just blacklisted him and was like, nope, we're not running any of those movies. Right. I think the other one of the more interesting things, two aspects of the trial that I've seen thus far, was the psychologist when she testified, Shannon Curry, I think her name is. She testified to. She did an interview of Amber Heard, and she testified that Heard was both borderline personality disorder and one that I have never heard of before, histrionic personality disorder. And when she started, I was like, well, what is that? I'm up on WebMD now. I'm not going to bore everybody with just kind of reading through what WebMD says. I invite you to go and look it up, but and see Dr. Curry's testimony. But as she was describing all of the things, it was like, oh my God, that's Amber Heard. And 70% of women I've dated, right? Like,
damn.
I was like, oh my God. But yeah, that's one thing. The other thing was the cross-examination, or the examination rather, from the deposition from, I think it was in December or March, of the police officers who responded the night she claimed that he put hands on her, and she took the infamous picture of the black and blue, bruise on her face. The officers both were like, no bruises, no scars, no nothing.
Oh.
Amber Heard herself wouldn't press charges, I don't think she would even name the other person that was involved. So they had no choice but to kind of drop it. It's just not looking good for her. It's just not looking good for her. Just on this case piece. And it feels like she's scamming a community. She's scamming people.
I believe karma is something, that bill always comes due. So we'll see. We may not see it in public, but, there will be some retribution somewhere along the line for her,
Warner Brothers right now, they quaking in their boots, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because she played, what is the character's name? Mira in the Aquaman movie. They brought her back for the second Aquaman movie, which I think has wrapped production. So they either got to run with that movie with her in it or reshoot the movie.
Reshoot. They probably, yeah. Or it may just never come out.
No, they are not going. They're going to put that movie out. They have to. After the Batman movie, did you watch that? Shifting gears.
I did. It was okay. I am glad I did not go to the theaters to see it. I was one of those, like, I never watched the trailer. I saw them. The Batman trailers will pop up, the Batman. I'm like, another one? Nah. And who's Batman this time? It's not Ben Affleck? Nope. I did not care. What's the sister? Zoe Kravitz.
Yep.
She was pretty good in it. She was good. And after watching it, I enjoyed it for the most part. It was not great. I don't think it was great. And it's just one of those. I feel like they keep redoing the same story of Batman. Now his father was a politician. I don't not to ruin it for anybody. I don't remember that being the case in any of the previous Batmans. That the storyline that Bruce Wayne's father, what was his name? I can't remember. Whoever it was a politician of some sort. I don't remember that. And then he was killed. Him and his wife were killed. First, it was the Joker that did it. Now it's no. It's a hard pass for me. I watched it and enjoyed it for what it was, but super glad I didn't go to the movies to watch it.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I watched it. Me and old girl watched it last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was excited for this movie to come out because it's kind of like Batman Year One. I don't know if you ever read that comic or saw that animated movie where it's early in the life of Batman, right? So, he's not really that good. He's still fumbling. He doesn't have all of the technology that he normally has. And, he's still learning. So I liked that conceptually. I like the idea of that conceptually. I just didn't believe Robert Pattinson is Batman. That's the first thing. The second thing is I think they were trying to focus more on the Batman, the detective side of things versus Batman, the action adventure, which I think is a great idea. But as a crime thriller, it didn't measure up. It just didn't measure up. And and I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that it was Batman and that was distracting or anything. It wasn't a good crime thriller. It just wasn't. The Batmobile was kick ass. I thought that was bomb. Mm-hmm. I thought the outfit, the Batman costume, I really liked it because it was kind of slapped together and rudimentary and rough looking to reflect the, early in the stages of becoming Batman. Zoe Kravitz. Look, I think she did okay. I just didn't believe that she was that kick ass, right? Like why? Why is she that kick ass? We didn't get anything about her background, her experience, her training that would make her able to whoop a man twice her size, right? I just didn't believe it. And it was too long. It was about 40 minutes too long.
40? It was about an hour too long.
I did like the Riddler casting. I did like that. He looked like a young, crazy Bill Gates to me. I thought that was kind of cool.
Right. And then at the end, again, I'm sorry for the spoilers, people. But fuck this movie. The Joker. they hinted at the Joker in the end of it. You know what I mean? Which is like, what you gonna do now? You're gonna it's like to keep going backwards and forwards in the story. It's hard to keep up, and they keep rewriting things that were established in the story previously. Whatever.
I think the best part, and I'm finding a picture now so I can bring it up, was Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Oh my God.
You can't recognize him.
And as soon as this picture is done downloading, I'm going to put it up. But they transformed him. I had no idea that was him. I was just like, it's some new actor that they got to do this role. Here we go. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, that was the makeup that did him. That was crazy.
His eyes don't even look the same.
I still imagine Danny DeVito as the Penguin. And surprisingly, Danny DeVito and Kim Kardashian wore the same outfit.
Oh.
There's a picture when Kardashian was actually pregnant, and she had this jumper on, this like god awful green jumper on, or something like that, and they put her next to the penguin that said Danny DeVito as the penguin, and said, "Who wore it better?" I didn't make this up. I just recalled that. So sorry.
Oh.
I had to think about it. So now you have to think about it.
No. Oh my God. I'm gonna get the actual one that you're talking about. Here we go.
Now is it just me? Not just me, people. For those who are listening and can't see this, just Google this image. You'll see.
They won't have to Google. I'm
about
about to put it up. It's just taking a minute for it to download. And I'm sorry that I'm laughing before y'all can see it and laugh at it too. Here we go. Full screen on that.
Oh,
it
not
says,
full screen.
Who wore it better? Let's zoom in. Oh,
that's horrible. And she was pregnant at the time. It is funny though. It is funny. Yeah. It's more about the outfit than Kim Kardashian. Let's just be clear.
Oh, y'all ain't right.
You making fun of pregnant women. No, it's the outfit was god awful. Like, why would you wear this?
Oh, the internet is just undefeated.
Undefeated. Yep.
Oh, here's another one. It's so sad. It's so sad how they treat her. And I'm participating, and I feel horrible participating, but I've got to
you
participate.
should, man. For all she's done for black men, or done with black men, or two black men with black men on black. Okay, let me stop.
Oh, here's another.
All
one.
the black men she's ingested. So
here's another one I found. It's comparing her to what looks to be a bag of onions.
No.
Oh my God. People are cruel. Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, I'm getting off of that. I think we should go. We've run
that's
long.
What she said. That's what she said. All right, folks.
That's what Ray J said.
Ray J was like another one.
Chris
Humphries.
Humphries. And Kanye West.
I don't think Humphries was around long enough to say it. I do want to extend a rest in peace to DJ K Slay, who passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
I got to work with him here in New York at Hot 97. Cool dude. I didn't have a whole lot of interactions with him. We weren't best friends by any stretch of the imagination, but anytime I interacted with him and had to work with him on something, he was always just a cool dude. And from graffiti to DJing to producing to radio, he was he made his mark on hip hop, and he will definitely be missed. His contributions are to hip hop and to entertainment itself. Always kept it real and very much. Even like we played his the 100 MCs.
100 it was 110 deep.
110 deep. So I'm like, and there's more coming. So they'll keep his legacy alive, and they've even renamed his radio show the Drama Hour, the K Slay Drama Hour, keeping his name on the show. And I believe Papoose, he's responsible for Papoose. Papoose is, I don't know if he's going to do it here on out, but he hosted the show and represented for K Slay. So shout out to the family, but condolences to the family and close friends of K Slay. Also, Miss Juicy, I saw a headline that Miss Juicy was in the hospital. I think she had some either a stroke or possibly a stroke or a seizure. Miss Juicy is the little lady. She was on some reality show, I remember, but we know her from Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and it's been reported that she's in the hospital and in a coma. So we're praying and hoping that she gets well and gets better and comes out of this stronger. So prayers are with the family for her.
Absolutely.
There was a story I wanted to get to. We were not going to get to it. Maybe we'll get to it another time, next time. But Jerrod Carmichael, and his dynamic with his family. He came out as gay on his most recent comedy special. One, I'm a fan of Jerrod Carmichael. I enjoyed the shows, his stand-up. He's always been an amazing comedian to me. And he's in real time going through some interesting family issues and stuff like that in public. So I know that can't be easy. So healing and love going out to Carmichael and his family for all that's happening with him.
Look, you got time? We can just take it to the after show. We haven't done one of those in a while.
This is true. All right. Well, folks, appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. If you're listening, you want to see what we're talking about, going over to our YouTube channel, or just hit up our website, unpopinshow.com, and watch the after show that we're about to do. And we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. Follow us on all socials at Unpopin Show. And we'll see you on the flip side. See you on the after show.